Hey guys, it's Jay, and in this video, I'm going to walk you through Bevel's latest release of Bevel Nutrition. Now, I am by no means a YouTuber by any stretch. If you check out my channel, you'll see I really don't post or create videos for YouTube. It's a little bit different for me, so bear with me because this is not going to be a high-end production by any stretch. But Bevel released their new nutrition feature about 4 days ago, and in trying to do some research this morning, I noticed that there's really no one out there covering this quite yet. So I'm sure a lot of the fitness tracker gurus are working on much more comprehensive tests, but given that there's no real user feedback out there yet, I figured I'd do just a quick walkthrough of how this works and what you can expect from the new Bevel Nutrition. So without further ado, let's jump in. So first, let's just start with what Bevel is and how it works. So here you can see this is the Bevel home screen. This is what you're greeted with when you first launch the app. And really, Bevel is just a fitness tracker, like so many other fitness trackers out there. It's not dissimilar to Garmin or Whoop or apps like Athletic. And Bevel is actually much more like an Athletic, which is the primary data source is typically an Apple Watch that you have, but it gives you a much cleaner and clearer presentation of the data. As you can see, I wasn't using my Apple Watch last night, so I don't have recovery or sleep tracked here. But if we go back a day, you can see some of that. You get sleep data, recovery data, strain data, etc., presented in a very nice and clear format here. Now, that's not what we're going to focus on today. We're going to focus on nutrition, which is the new feature that was released about 4 days ago. Bevel Nutrition seeks to essentially be a nutrition tracker. This is meant to replace a lot of the nutrition trackers that are out there. There's apps like Lose It or other calorie counters. And what Bevel is seeking to do, and what their CEO talks about, is their goal is to provide a more holistic view on nutrition. So what you're getting here are some of the breakdowns of carbs and protein and fats. You're seeing the quality of your food. So again, they want to talk less about calories, but more about what is the quality of the calories based on that food that you're eating, that you're putting into your body. So that's optimal score here that you see, 73 here in this case. And then blood glucose. So this is cool and unique in that they can link into a Dexcom or other glucose reader if you have a prescription or you track your glucose through one of those tools otherwise, and you get a breakdown of how the food is actually impacting you. Now, I don't have access to any of that, and I don't do blood glucose tracking, but if you have that, you can actually see the direct correlation between how your blood glucose levels fluctuate after you eat certain foods. If we click into nutrition, you'll see I haven't logged in, so I don't have any sort of just baseline glucose calibration. And again, I don't use any of those glucose trackers, so I don't have access to that data either. But you can see a quick look at your food quality. You can see the breakdown of carbs, protein, and fats. You can see your net energy. So if we click into energy, I guess you can't click into it, you'll just see the total calories of where you are based on what you've eaten and what you've burned. Here, I just logged a banana earlier, which was part of my breakfast, and some of these scores here. So if we click into nutrition scores, you'll see that on a timeline. You'll see macro balances, and you'll see that net energy that I mentioned. Are you running a deficit or not? And then you get some of this glucose data. Again, I don't have enough data in there to be able to track that effectively. Here is where you can see you would track or connect a glucose monitor. Let's just quickly go through an example. One of the things that's different here too is Bevel's leaning into AI in order to try and provide an easier way of tracking. Let's start with something simple. Let's start with another banana. If I click on the plus here, I can log a new food. Now there's 3 ways of doing this. The first is to search for the food. This is like any other calorie tracker. You search within the food database. Here I'll do banana. And if I click on banana, I can make any edits. So this might be a small banana. I can see the macros right there. I can get some more of the nutrition facts, and I can add the food if I'd like. Now, I've already added a banana, so I'm not going to add another. But you can see, if we had added it, we would see the quality score. So this is a 73 on the quality score. And we see all of the different macro data there based on this banana. And there's a picture of the banana that I had scanned earlier. The other way that we could track, come back here, is capture. In this case, you just take a picture of the food. Oops, should have let it render. Okay, now we can go and review. And we can see this is categorizing this as a medium-sized banana. And again, if you want to make that modification, you can go here and say, actually, it's a small one. And you could add it to your log this way with the time. Again, I'm not going to track this just yet, so we'll hit discard. And lastly, you can use natural language to describe the food. We can say a small banana. Now, I imagine this is sending the data or the description of the food out to OpenAI's or whoever they're using servers. So it takes a little bit of time to render, depending on the complexity. But again, you get back the same result, a banana. Now, let's do something a little bit more complicated. I have not actually tried this yet myself, so we're going to see how this works in real time together. I just went out and grabbed something that I knew I could get data on publicly. I'm going to switch over so I can record my whole screen, but in a minute, we're going to go through how good this ability to scan foods in the real world actually is. So let's try that out. Okay, so we're back, and I've got two things in front of me here from McDonald's where it's easy to get the nutrition data. Of course, there's plenty of other places to get clear and easy nutrition data, but this just happens to be right downstairs for me, so it only took a minute to go out and get it. And I've got two things. I've got a McDouble and I've got a McChicken. I'm going to open both up here and just trying to do this kind of naturally. I'm going to see how well Bevel will be able to categorize and understand what this food is. We're going to go in again. I'm going to go into capture mode. And I'm just going to take a photo of this McDouble. And we're going to let it process. Let's see how good of a job Bevel does recognizing this. Now, I am not taking away any hints. It's in a McDonald's wrapper, so I'm hoping that it can understand and contextualize some of this. And this is about as close as you can get to how you might do this if you were sitting down inside of a McDonald's. You can see here it is categorizing it as a cheeseburger. And if we hit edit, let's see what kind of options we get. So it's saying sesame seed bun, which is not actually true, a beef patty, a cheese slice, and then large bacon cheeseburger with bun and single patty with ketchup. So I actually don't think this did the best job categorizing this. And if I come down, I've got the actual nutrition data. So this is the McChicken. This is the McDouble. So 390 calories overall should be what this is in the real world. 22 grams of protein, 20 grams of fat, and 31 grams of carbs. We're way off on the protein. We're a little bit off on the fat. We're not terribly far off on the carbs here. But overall, you can see the ingredient list is really not that great. So we could go and we could tweak some of these things, but the whole point is to be easy, right? We shouldn't have to do that. Let's delete this because I don't think that did a very good job. Now, the other ways we could do this is like any other calorie tracker. We could just do McDouble and search. We come down to the branded searches here. I do like how they separate common foods from branded foods. So things from actual databases. And you can see there's two here. I don't love that they're both listed as verified and they're slightly different from each other. The first would be the actual data from McDonald's. So you can see here 29 grams of carbs. Even this is slightly off. So it's interesting that this is considered verified, but it's closer. I've got the 22 grams of protein, the 19 grams of fat, and about 30 grams of carbs here. So this would be the more accurate way of logging. And then there's the last way of logging, which is coming in here and describing the food. McDouble from McDonald's. Let's see how this does. This we would expect. It's just natural language processing. So all we're doing is running through some AI companies' servers to hopefully just query against the same database. So you'd expect it to come back with the same information. But interestingly, this is actually showing a higher calorie count than we were expecting. We're expecting, again, for the McDouble, about 390 calories. This is listing about 450 calories. And if we come in here, we can see it is throwing in all of the right ingredients for the most part, except that sesame seed bun, which is not accurate, but it does have the right ingredients listed. The macronutrients are actually, so it's close. The place where there's the biggest delta is the protein. It's giving a little bit too much credit to that burger patty there. So this is also not super accurate. So I'm not in love with this. Really, the most accurate way based on this is to query through the database. So this would be no different than any other calorie tracker. So the kind of unique parts of Bevel are not shining right now. Now, just for argument's sake, let's come in here. Let's grab that McDouble that we know is the closest to reality. And let's add it to our log. We're going to add it. And now we can see my overall food nutrition score has gone down. Obviously, that McDouble is not as healthy as a banana, so we're losing a little bit of credit there. And if we come to the McDouble itself, we see it's actually not giving it a terrible score. It's at about a 59 here. You can see a breakdown. So the macro balance is a 49 out of 100. A 100 out of 100 would be the best. Sodium, so there's a lot of sodium in here. It's a 1 out of 100, but there are no added sugars, or not enough added sugars that it reflects poorly in their assessment here. McDouble, it's not saying is the worst food ever, and I'm not sure if I agree with that. Let's do another example. Now I've got the McChicken. Open this up, and let's try again. Hit the plus. I'm going to hit capture, and I'm just going to take a photo of this McChicken here. Same thing, we're going to let this process, and let's see how it does. And let's flip over to our McChicken. Okay, so we're looking for 390 calories, 38 grams of carbs, 14 grams of protein, 21 grams of fat. Let's go to the food log, and let's see what it came back with. It is not recognizing branding here, which is a little bit disappointing since we have the McDonald's logo here. You'd think it would pull from the actual branded library and try to match what this is, but it's not. So that's interesting. And if we come into edit here, we can see the breakdowns. It is not far off on carbs. It's not crazy far off on fat, but it is a little bit far off on protein, with 21.5 grams listed here, 14 grams in reality. And we can see here the ingredients and how it listed it out. So it's off by about 70 calories here, but it's not the worst capture in the world. Let's do the actual food database again. So like any other calorie tracking app, we search McChicken, we come down to the branded. This first option here is the actual chicken. So let's add this food. Add to log. We can see our food score has dropped again. And this McChicken, interestingly, is scored worse than a McDouble. The macro balance here is worse. Sodium is just as bad in the added sugars. It's giving the same credit. Here we can see the breakdown of all of the data and stats. But interesting here, it has a higher carb load and not as much protein, so it's giving a worse score to the McChicken here, which is surprising to me. I thought the McChicken would be scoring slightly higher than the McDouble. And then we're going to go in and describe the food. So a McDonald's, 3 grams of carbs, 14 grams of protein, 21 grams of fat. Let's go to the food log. McChicken. If I can type. Now it'll be interesting to see if this is like the McDouble and it actually gives a slightly different breakdown than the actual McChicken, which it could find inside of its databases. Okay. It's, again, just calling it a common thing. So it's not using the branded food database, and the calories in this case are way off. And if we look here, you can see it's giving a lot more fat value than is in reality. The carbs are pretty much on. But again, the protein's off with almost 22 grams of protein here and 14 grams of protein in reality. If we click into the chicken patty alone is slightly higher. I don't know where else it's grabbing protein from. It's giving 6 grams of protein to a sesame bun, which is interesting. I don't know if I would think that there's actually 6 grams of protein in a sesame seed bun. That does not sound right to me. Not the most accurate, if you ask me. So this is how it works overall. Again, I don't think it's the most impressive thing in reality. The real differentiator here is the nutrition quality score. And again, like, I'm just looking at how it's assessing these, and I don't know if I agree with a chicken sandwich. And granted, these are both not healthy options, but a chicken sandwich being scored less healthy in terms of quality than a beef patty McDouble from McDonald's. So that piece doesn't feel super accurate to me. Obviously, a banana, yes, that should score higher. And then I also don't love that the unique value prop here of this being easy to log and scanning and getting really good data is true, because it does not seem to be categorizing these well. And I think they have enough touch points here, like these wrappers that have McDonald's, that it should be able to better categorize these. Not feeling like this is the best showing for Bevel here. Of course, they'll improve over time. Now, let's do one more thing, and let's see how this would compare to ChatGPT. Just using a basic AI, how would ChatGPT handle the same thing? Okay, so now we're in the ChatGPT interface, and I'm going to go ahead and say, take photo. I'm going to take a photo of this McChicken. I'm going to go next. I'm going to say, what is this food? Who is it made by? What are the total calories? What is the breakdown of carbs, protein, and fats? Now let's see, just basic ChatGPT, not customized for a nutrition tracker like this, how it does. Now ChatGPT by itself is saying, this is a McChicken sandwich. It's from McDonald's. It consists of crispy chicken patty, shredded lettuce, mayonnaise, and a toasted bun. It's approximately 400 calories, 39 carbs, 14 grams of protein, and 21 grams of fat. OpenAI and ChatGPT can get there. Bevel, for some reason, can't. That is not a great sign to me. Let's do the same thing just now. I'm curious if we were to do the same thing with the McDouble, would it do the same? Do the same assessment for this food. Let's go back over to the McDouble. It is saying it's a bacon McDouble, so it's not getting that piece specifically. Let's see if I can get this QuickTime play out of the way. Carbs not crazy far off. Protein close. It's probably getting thrown by the bacon. And same thing with the fats. And if I were just to say it's actually a regular McDouble, revise, does it get closer? And indeed it does. It nails the fats, it nails the protein, it nails the carbs. It's much closer. So my overall rating, I don't think Bevel has knocked it out of the park here. They've got ways to go. As we can see, if you were to use just a regular AI like a ChatGPT, it's closer. So there's definitely some tweaking that these guys need to do, in my mind, to get this closer to a great representation of what this can be. If you're interested, it has two plans. You can do a $6 a month monthly plan, or you can do a $50 a year plan. I do, as much as I'm criticizing this new nutrition feature here, I do think Bevel does a nice job with their app. It's a very slick interface. It does a great job showing at a high level the health stats that are being brought in by different trackers. But here in its release version, at least, I don't think that they've knocked it out of the park just yet with nutrition. I hope this helps. This is not the most comprehensive review. There's definitely going to be a lot of those coming out, because I know there are a lot of passionate YouTubers who use Bevel and lots of other tools that can do a deeper comparison. But I wanted to give a first blush preview of what this looks like from just a regular guy who is interested in these types of things. So this is a quick review. If you want me to go any deeper into anything, let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, I hope this helps. Thank you.